Welcome to this 1 hour flow. I'm Dr. Maegen, Brady, DeLeo, physical therapist and yoga teacher. And this evening we will start off in supported fish, lying on our backs over a bolster. If you don't have a bolster at home, you can use a couple of pillows, a couch cushion. So just making our way down to the ground. The bolster's gonna come right around the low back area. You can come up to where the hips are. Legs can be straight or bent. Arms can be closed with your hands at your hips or open with your palms facing up towards the ceiling. These first 10 breaths are merely to land in the space. Nothing to do here, nowhere to be, coming off of automatic. Politely putting your to-do list on pause, letting go of the day thus far, thanking yourself for carving out this time for you. Noticing your 5 senses, any sounds going on around you, maybe some music, there may be noises on the street, sirens, not getting too caught up in sounds, just noticing. The feeling of the air on your skin, the texture of your clothing, the weight of your body in contact with the ground. Next, noticing the rate and quality of your breaths, noticing if they're short and shallow, are they long and deep, not trying to change anything quite yet, just noticing. Where in your body do you feel your breathing? Are the breaths up into the neck? Can you feel the rib cage expanding? The diaphragm dropping down? The belly rising towards the ceiling? For today's breath practice, we'll practice box breathing. Breathing in to the count of 4. Pause at the top for a count of 4. Exhaling out for a count of 4. Pausing at the bottom for a count of 4. Again, twice more, one more together. Inhaling in through the nose. Pausing, appreciating that space at the top of the motion. Before emptying out, exhaling completely. Pausing at the bottom of the motion. Once more at your own pace here. If you're looking to increase your energy levels, focus more on your inhales. If you're looking to de-stress or down-regulate, focus more on your exhales. Completing the breath cycle out, we'll begin to roll to one side or the other, keeping shoulders, hips, knees all moving together onto your side to gently move your prop away and coming flat down onto your back. Knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Inhaling, exhaling, pressing your low back flat down towards the mat. Inhaling, releasing, exhaling, pressing low back down. We'll take 3 more of these pelvic tilts. As you inhale, rocking your pelvis forwards. As you exhale, rock pelvis backwards, like a bowl of water is spilling towards the back edge of the mat. Inhaling, space comes to the low back. Exhaling, low back moves down to the ground. One more each way. And gradual exhale, final pelvic tilts. Next, inhale, hug your right knee towards your chest. Recommend grabbing underneath your thigh, grabbing behind the knee here. You can grab your shin, your foot, or your toes for the next 8 breaths. We feel the contact of your spine with the ground. So just like the pelvic tilts, appreciating the low back coming into contact with the ground. And just like supported fish where we began, your chest and your shoulders are open. Slight tuck of the chin. Your ankle can be still. You can roll the ankle in, out, up, and down. 2 more full breath cycles in. Breath cycles out. 1 more full breath in. 1 more full breath out. Keep the bind. Right, left leg slowly straightens down your mat. 8 breaths here. The left toes are flexed towards your nose. Strong through the front of your thigh, long through the back of the calf. Here you can play with the position of the right knee. You can rock in and out, feeling the ball and socket joint moving. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Next, inhale, right hand takes the right knee. Draw your knee towards the outside of the mat. Now we have our bolster, so recommend you take your bolster and bring it underneath your right knee. Of course, you can hold the knee in space, but we're going to be here for a solid 8 breaths. So why not let the ground come up to meet you? Allow yourself to fully sink into the pose, allowing the thigh muscles to relax. Allow the inner thigh to let go. Soften your face, soften your jaw. Release the grip of your hands and just gently guide the knee down towards the bolster. Foot can be flexed or released. Breaths in, long through the spine. Breaths out, releasing through the inner thigh. Breath in. Breath fully completing the exhale, appreciating that space at the bottom of the breath. Before slowly inhaling, bringing right knee back up through center, give it another squeeze. Hug both knees in towards your chest for happy baby. Grabbing underneath your thigh. Grabbing your feet. Couple breaths here in stillness or rocking a little bit side to side. Noticing any differences in the sensations in the legs, the hips. I'd like to take a moment to transition the bolster to the other side of the mat. As As we hug behind the left thigh, placing your right foot flat down to the ground. We're in left hip flexion. Maybe moving the foot into flexing, pointing, in, out. Letting the day thus far, gravity that's collected in the lower leg, move its way towards the heart circulation. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. At the bottom of your exhale, slide your right heel long down the mat, mindfully allowing that knee to move on track. As we flex those right toes towards your nose, playing with the position of the left hip in flexion as that right hip is in an extended position, lengthening through the front of those right hip flexors. 3 more breaths here. Final breath in. Final breath out. Releasing your left knee out towards your bolster, kind of a half frog variation. Right foot is still bright and engaged as we allow the inner left thigh to open. Let shoulders and chest melt down the mat. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, full exhale. Next breath in, bringing left knee back through center. Hug both knees in towards your chest to happy baby. And from here, we'll transition to a tabletop position. So, 2 ways to get there, actually many ways to get there. Choose your own adventure. You can rock and roll through the spine towards the front of your mat, or roll onto your side, fetal position, and press yourself up through seat. Feel free at any point to grab water along the way. We'll set ourselves up in tabletop. So, welcome to take a moment to roll up your mat, to have a couple towels to put underneath your knees or ankles. Spread your fingers wide like starfish, and if you're working with any wrist injuries or carpal tunnel, definitely can take this as we work into cat-cow tilts. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, rounding through the spine. We'll take 10 in each direction here. As you inhale, beginning to tilt tailbone up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, think of rounding the tailbone down towards the ground, tucking your tail between your legs. Inhale, tailbone tilts up. Each vertebrae like a string of pearls, letting belly drop. And exhale, rounding tailbone down, starting to flatten the back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, tailbone up, belly drops, beginning to curve through the mid-back. Exhale, curving tailbone down towards the ground, pressing through your low back, pressing through your shoulder blades. Inhale, tailbone tilts up. Like a wave, belly rolls down, chest drops, shoulders open, maybe gently looking up. Never straining the neck. As we exhale, rounding down through tailbone, pressing, curving back up towards ceiling, letting head and shoulders hang. So take 2 more in each direction. Feel free to take it off the train tracks with some C-curve side to side. Maybe some circles in each direction. It's been a day. So let anything just roll off your shoulders. Anything that's on your mind, roll off the mind. 1 more each way. Next, exhale, sinking back towards child's pose. So child's pose can look like a lot of different things, especially in a yin class. Feel free to grab a block under the forehead, maybe place a bolster underneath the belly or underneath your knees. Sometimes I like an active child's pose with arms reached, but here we're allowing, releasing the body. Breaths in, feeling the back body expand up towards the ceiling. Breaths out, feeling your rib cage melting down. Breaths in, rib cage expands out to the sides like bucket handles. Exhaling, releasing your rib cage back down. Completing the 360 view, inhaling, belly rises towards your thighs, towards the bolster, towards the ground. Exhaling, melting down. 3 more breaths here. One more breath in. 1 more breath out. Next, inhale, slowly returning to tabletop and pressing yourself up to a tall kneeling position. Bringing knees under hips, tucking toes underneath. Rising up to tall kneeling, taking a camel pose. So instead of maybe going all the way down towards your legs, making this a little bit more restorative by either having the hands on the back or taking your bolster or blocks towards thighs. Really just taking a very gentle back bend here. Breaths in, expanding through the front line of the body from the pelvic, joining to the front of the neck. Breaths in, breaths out. Breaths in, breaths out. 1 more inhale. Exhale, gently releasing back down to tabletop. Inhale, extend right leg back behind you. Exhale, bend your knees, step it forwards to a low lunge. Definitely recommend rolling up your mat or putting a blanket underneath your knee just to help pad the knee. And love a couple of blocks to help lift the ground up towards us. There's never any rush here, so it's fabulous to really set yourself up with all of the things. Now we are squeezing the butt muscles to draw those hips forwards. So instead of just kind of, sinking into it, we are really strong through the back body to help lift through the chest, opening up through the hip flexors here. Breath in, breath out, let your shoulders drop. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, strong through your legs. Reach arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cactus arms, bending your elbows, scraping them against the back wall. One more time as we inhale, reach arms overhead. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, paint the front wall with your fingertips as we place hands on blocks and sitting back into a runner's lunge. We always make sure that that front knee isn't hyperextended. Beautiful, nice little bend in that front knee as we lift up through the chest and square those hips forward. There may be some sensations in the back line of the body here. Breaths in, breaths out. Breaths in, breaths out. Inhale, exhale, bending knee, plant your palm, the palm of your foot. Walk your foot out towards the outside of the mat for a lizard pose. Blocks again are useful to bring the ground up. We're going to be here for about 8 breaths. So again, we're strong through the back line of the body to help secure the flexibility in the front of the left hip flexors, the inner right thigh here. And perhaps over a couple of breaths, you begin to journey downwards towards the smaller ends. Maybe you stay lifted. Maybe you eventually find your way with hands and forearms on the ground. Each breath is its own individual journey. It's a scene where you can create a little bit more space. Breaths in, breaths out. Breaths in, breaths out. Inhale, slowly rise back up through neutral position, bringing your foot back through center. We'll move blocks off to the side and planting your palms around your front foot. We'll kick it back just for a moment here in an extended position, maybe wiggling the foot, maybe bending the knee and opening the hip here in kind of a 3-legged dog variation. Before inhaling it back through center, exhaling, releasing the knee down towards the ground. We'll take a couple of cat And it's that strong foundation of pressing the inner thighs in together that allows more of a levity and a lift through the upper body. Breaths in, breaths out. Breaths in, breaths out. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, cactus arms. Broad opening in the front of the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale to lift. Exhale, squeeze. One more inhale and exhale. Sinking hands down. Heel plants, toes lift up. Runner's lunge. Now, there's the opportunity here to move the foot in and out, and up and down. There's a whole highway of different nerves that go down our leg, including the sciatic nerve. So while your dentist wants you to floss your teeth, your physical therapist wants you to floss your nerves. Getting some blood flow, some oxygen to those areas. We'll take 2 more breaths in, breaths out. 1 more full inhale, and 1 more full exhale. At the bottom of your exhale, we'll plant and coming to lizard variation on this side here, walking foot out towards the outside of the mat, rolling towards the outside of the ankle. And this can be a pretty intense sensation. So bringing your breath into those spaces that need a little bit more attention. Full breaths in, breaths out, breaths in, breaths out. 1 more inhale in, full exhale, coming to the bottom of the breath. Allow that pause before inhaling. Center, removing blocks to the sides, framing your front foot with your hands, kicking your left leg back, maybe opening up towards the side here. And then bringing your knee down towards the ground. Child's pose. Maybe it's the same version as before, maybe taking a little bit of a different version, maybe balasana with hands down by your sides. Another full breath in. Another full breath out. Next inhale, rise back up in tabletop. And we'll be taking a deer pose, so a 90-degree angle with the front leg and a 90-degree angle with the back leg. So that front knee is in line with the hip, the toes are flexed, the back hip has the knee forward a little bit rather. And this is one where you can either stay lifted, floor and just appreciate the stretch in the legs here. Always nice to use like a bolster underneath that floating leg. It's also one that you can start to really come down towards the ground here with. Couple full breath cycles here. Two more breaths in and out. Breaths in, breaths out. Transition to a half pigeon. So left leg can be in front, right leg can be back behind. Coming into the back leg being extended behind you, having that front knee at a 90-degree angle. As long as those toes are really flexed towards you, helping to keep the knee safe. I also love like a bolster underneath that top leg. Rather, as we start to melt forward into half pigeon. Scanning your body. Beginning at the crown of the head, relaxing, releasing a little bit farther down towards the ground. Scanning to your neck, your shoulders, letting go of the muscles around your arms, elbows, forearms, hands and fingers. Scanning down to our mid-back, rib cage, our hearts, and all of our other systems working in conjunction with amazing management of so many different things going on that aren't even conscious to us at all times. Scanning to our low back, our hips, our pelvis, down to our thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, a T-band, to our knees, our calves, our Achilles, our plantar fascia, our toes. 2 more breaths here. One more breath in, one more breath out, letting go of anything else holding on to. Next breath in, gently press yourself up. And from here, rolling onto your bum, bring your hands behind you and both feet in front. We'll take a couple of windshield wiper knees side to side. appreciating how our hips move the ball and socket joints into internal rotation as the knee comes in towards midline, and external rotation as the knee goes towards the outside of the mat. We'll do 2 more in each direction. And these windshield wiper knees provide a little bit of a moment for each hip to explore. And again, one hip might feel different than the other. We've just kind of gone through a series of deer and half pigeon that we'll now do on the other side. So as you inhale back through center, the left foot will come forwards at a 90-degree angle. That right foot will come backwards at a 90-degree angle here. And we begin our journey here, especially strong and flex through that front foot to help keep that knee safe. We begin a journey either staying lifted up or coming down towards the ground. And while this pose is called deer, it's a very effective hip opener. It reminds me that this weekend we had the opportunity to see 3 different deer, or maybe it was the same one following us as we hiked through the Middlesex Fells. And it's just one of those reminders that nature is everywhere, it's not apart from us, it's not separate, but we are all together in one part of nature. And when we are able to turn inwards and focus on our breath, focus on our body, we can really connect not just with ourselves, but everything, everyone around us. Take 2 more breaths here in deer. Breath in, 1 more breath out. Inhale, slowly back through center, and we'll take half pigeon on the other side. We go through a similar scan of the body, breathing into the different areas from head to toes. We are reminded to let go. There's so much that we hold on to in our day-to-day lives, whether it's thoughts, feelings, emotions, maybe a grudge or a belief. And maybe it's something we truly feel is right, just for now, just for a little bit, just letting go of any of those things. And just for a little bit, we're here, we're feeling the sensations in the body, letting go of everything else. 2 more breaths. One more breath in. 1 more breath out. Next inhale, slowly, slowly coming up. And we'll come back through center, maybe taking in a couple of those little windshield wiper swishes. We will transition onto our backs. So coming flat down onto your back. We're going to take a supported bridge, so you can definitely take a couple of blocks and put them underneath you. I also love a bolster to come underneath the sacrum or the tailbone, especially the long ways, so where your whole back, whole hip area is supported as we sink over these next 10 breaths. It may seem like a lot, it may seem like nothing at all, but really there is a lot going on between the low back, the front of the pelvis, and the hip. There are hip flexor muscles that begin at our low back, and they run down to the front of the hip here. We spend a lot of time sitting, they can get locked short and tight. So here we're breathing into the spaces of the low back, into the inside of our pelvis. Feeling the belly rise and belly fall. Brow and jaw soften. Two more breaths in, breaths out, breaths in, breaths out. Now to come to an inversion, you can definitely make use of wall space, either at home or in studio here. Bring your legs up the wall, or we can keep the bolster and blocks and lift those legs up towards the ceiling. We can play with the ankles, rolling in and out, flexing those toes up and down. Alluding to earlier the fact that gravity takes waste products down towards our feet and our ankles. So by reversing gravity here, we're helping waste make its way back up to the lymphatic system to flush through the body, blood up to the heart. 5 more breaths. Slowly beginning to make your way down to the ground. And from here, we can come directly into our final resting pose. So the bolster can supported finish. You can put your bolster underneath the backs of your knees and elevate your legs. If there's anything that I haven't called yet in today's practice that your body's asking for, now's a little yoga recess time just to play around, see if there's something else that the body needs. Otherwise, coming to the most important portion of practice, all of the breath work, all of the pranayama, all of the asanas, the physical poses are geared towards these moments of sustained focus, attention on the breath. Inhale and exhale, letting go. Shavasana, final resting pose. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Beginning to bring some movement back into the body that feels good, rolling out your wrists and ankles, bending knees, removing any props out of the way. Before rolling onto your favorite side, use your bicep as a little pillow here for a moment just to mark the end of this practice. Leave behind anything that you do not need. before gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe bolstering yourself up. And we will end our practice with one deep Om together. Bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale. Inhale your thumb knuckles to your third eye center. And with so much gratitude for these bodies, this practice, and this beautiful community, we bow to one another and say, Namaste. And thank you all so much for such a beautiful practice. Remember to drink a lot of water throughout the course of this evening and into tomorrow. My name is Maegen, and always happy to hear your feedback. Hope you have a great rest of